of course, you ended up with the Mayhem in the end. And I'm kind of curious because, like, theoretically speaking, I mean, especially like teammates from Redbirds or from American Tornado are now spread far and wide. Like you have players in Shock, Atlanta, Gladiators, like Titans. Yet you went with the Mayhem, which is like not necessarily a team where those guys went. Did you receive other offers where you could have teamed up again?
With teammates, yeah, I had like 2 other offers. Um, and then I was like in trials for like 2 teams, but the trial process wasn't too far along yet. So it wasn't really an offer, it was just still doing that thing. But yeah, I had offers to play with teammates. I had a really good offer to play with a teammate, but then stuff happened with that, so I kind of just picked what I thought was best for me in the end, which was Florida.
Right. Why was Florida best for you to go with?
Okay, so there's like a list. Like, so one, I think with my other offers, playtime was an issue.
Hmm.
2, it's Florida. Florida's a nice place, especially the location where we're at is pretty nice. 3, Florida has no state taxes, so I'm dodging taxes there. 4, we have a chef, so that's pretty cool. And then 5, salary is pretty good. So uh, I got all that, and then my other offers, I didn't have all those avenues, I guess, or all those things to line up for me. So Florida just had everything going for me.
Were you aware when you joined that it would be a hybrid roster?
Yeah, I was aware of about half the team before I joined, because I think they were still figuring out the other half and who we wanted or who they wanted. Yeah, I was aware about half the team, and I was completely fine with it. Like, it's not like it deterred me or anything. So yeah, I'm really excited to play with us, or to play
Right.
this year with them.
How do you think that will go? Like, have you figured out like what the way you will be approaching that is? Will you just like be figuring out like common language in terms of like in-game callouts, or are the Koreans already pretty good at English? Like, what's the deal there?
Uh, so I think 1 or 2 of our Koreans' English isn't the best, but like with Overwatch, it's a bit different because there's Korean English, but then there's Overwatch English. And so as long as you know Overwatch English, like Nanomi 3, 2, 1, can we go? Can we go? Yes, yes, yes. That type of stuff. And as long as you know Overwatch English, we're chilling, because in game, that's all that matters. And then like VOD review, we have translation, so none of that's a problem.
Right.
And plus, I think Koreans are pretty fun to hang around. Pretty funny.
the theory is like, theoretically speaking, like very basic English makes sense, especially like in meta staff figured out. So I think it was Brad, head coach of the Atlanta Reign, who said like during the press conference after the OWL finals that in his mind, when a meta is settled, it's very easy to get everyone on the same page in terms of language, because like you just got to figure out timings. Like if you're playing goats, you just, as you said, like only need 3, 2, 1. When the the hero pool changes each week, and you gotta figure out like entirely new compositions and need to explain relatively complex situations to another team, that might be a problem. Do you think that rings that all true? And do you think it just won't be as complex in Overwatch 2?
No, I think with like, especially with like hero pools and stuff, that explaining stuff probably be a lot harder. But um, like with Koreans being in NA, and I'm talking to them in English every day, like they're gonna pick up on English. So the foundation the Koreans have now, I'm pretty confident in that. So I think it only gets better from here. So I think with hero pools happening and all that stuff happening, sure, it's more complex, but their understanding of English also increases. So by that time, but yeah, hopefully that works out.
What was the trial process like? Because I mean, Albert, your general manager, yay, for people that only know him by the nickname, said like for some parts of it, especially like the tanks, you guys were definitely still scrimming 6v6. Then he said like for other aspects, like you were trying 5v5, like the workshop code thing. So what did you trial on, and like what was the process like generally speaking?
Well, Florida had initially open trials that they opened to everyone on Twitter. Luckily, I was invited to like phase 2 of them, so I'd skip like the general weeding out of people, and I was invited to like the closed ones. So I tried out on 6v6 with all my teammates that I have now, except Automo. And then we had a 5v5 workshop mode, which we scrimmed on until we found our main support. So we were just trying main supports, and then we stumbled upon Automo, got Automo, and now we're no longer practicing.
How did the 5v5 trialing go? Was it remotely close to what you would imagine it will play like?
In a sense, because I think with 5v5 and the respawn timers, it's going to be a lot faster. I think that's not going to change. And so the concept of go, because in Overwatch, in Overwatch 1, there's a lot of, okay, the way we win this is we farm Nano Monkey. You know, we wait, we poke, we wait. I think in Overwatch 1, you see an opportunity, you set up, it's go. So I think the essence of the game, or in terms of like the pace, is probably going to remain the same. But I think in almost every other aspect, it's not going to be the same. But I think getting used to the pace and getting used to playing with only one tank is useful.
Right. Now, how much have you guys already played together, and like how have you guys already started working with the coaches?
Most of my teammates have. I know they've had like VOD review and stuff. I haven't yet. But I know the coaches have been working with my teammates and whatnot. We had like reviews after we'd scrim. But that's about the extent of it because we're still months apart. So anything they're talking to like my teammates is something they can change now that'll be useful, you know, just like positioning and stuff like that.
Right. Have you had a chance to talk like in depth with Gamba yet?
I've talked to Gumbo about like not necessarily gameplay, but I've talked to him in depth on like other subjects and like about OWL, about players, about like how it was with him before on like Valiant and stuff like that. But nothing like gameplay wise about me personally yet.
Yeah. Is there ever like a process where, I mean, Gamba is known for great scouting, especially of undervalued players. Are you guys ever like asked, like, have you seen some crack kid on ranked, and that could be something you should try out?
Nah, especially in NA, like all the good players are known, and there's not really any like hidden gems. There's like off the top of my head, there's like a one decent like DPS player I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Would you say who that is?
Yeah, it's Vision.
Right.
He's pretty good, but that's about it. If everybody knows each other, if you're good, you're a pro player already.
For sure. Now, theoretically speaking, I mean, looking at the roster, it's not a bad roster, but I mean, there are some teams that appear to be spending a ton in comparison, also having some heavy hitters. So, expectedly, you will probably be winning a little bit less than you were used to during the Contenders days. Now, I guess, like in the Mike Tyson sense of everyone having a plan until they get punched in the face, is that something you're concerned with? Like, are you ready to scrape off or like lose a couple of win percentages once you hit the Overwatch League?
Well, here's the thing. On 18 and on Redbirds, in terms of winning, it doesn't necessarily get any better than that. Like we were on like some like Shanghai type of streak in Contenders. Like we won, we lost maybe once or twice in a year, right? Like Shanghai. So unless I'm on Shanghai, or unless anybody's on Shanghai, I think that's a realistic expectation for everyone. Because now, you know, it's the big leagues and, you know, it's not as easy as it was. So, of course, I'm expecting, you know, challenges and, you know, not expecting to win as much because, quite frankly, I don't think you win as much as I did on AT and Redbirds. So, yeah, I think almost everything is below that.
I mean, personally, like if I look at that roster, also like looking at the history, is also with British Hurricane, as you said, like they were more like they were better as a team, not as mechanically like skilled, and therefore like couldn't adapt as well or hang as well. But like I'm still interested to see how that works mentally as soon as, because like you were players that were pretty easy about, like of course you were grinding hard and everything, but the attitude was, I mean, not totally professionalized. Do you think that will be an issue for any of you guys?
Oh, absolutely. No, for sure. We started scrimming and we would do reviews after, and in my head I was like, "Oh my god!" I haven't done a review in like a year and a half. Last time I did reviews on Triumph. So I know for sure it's gonna be a wake up call to the rest of my teammates because just a bunch of for fun players who just happen to win. But I think we'll get used to it because when I was on Triumph, I was used to it. So it's just, but it also comes with, this is your job now.
Yep.
There's no more fooling around because Contenders was our job, but it was, we don't actually, we got paid, but not contract. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And this is the big leagues, and we want to win, and we want to prove ourselves. So I think at first it'll be like a shock to all my teammates, as it was me. But past that, I think we'll be fine.
I guess like the thing is theoretically like we know just from the outside, like once your hobby becomes your job, then the just like the experience of it changes. Is this something you think about or like are concerned about? Because now like you can't say like I'm logging off for today and not participate in scrims. Like it's the big leagues now. It's serious. You probably gotta have some drills, especially like your coaches are known for like pretty rigorous practice. Is it something that concerns you at all?
No, because maybe like review, but that's gonna go away because that's just because I'm not used to it. But um, luckily the job I have is video games, so this is like a dream job, and I know how like fortunate I am to have this job and be in the position I am. So I can't complain at all. Like my job, my 9 to 5 is logging on to Overwatch. Like doesn't really get better than that. You know what I mean? So it won't be a problem because I also enjoy playing the game, and when I don't scrim, I'm bored. Just like without any of my teammates, like we were even trying to like during this offseason, we were trying to get like pug teams within our friend group. So it was trying to be like half of like AT and like some of the Atlanta players and some of the Glass players, and just like just get some practice in because playing ranked all day is boring. So scrimming is fun for us.
Right. Here's a chance to throw some shade on your past teammates. Is there like a guy where you're like, okay, that might be challenging for him if he has to be like in blocks and like scrim reviews specifically, like, or do you think everyone will just like transition just fine?
Reiner, for sure. Reiner. Like without a doubt. Like it's like with a mix of his personality and his like hard headedness and his personality, I think he'll go through it for a little bit, but like he's normal. Like he'll get used to it. It's just like a hump we're all gonna have to go through in the beginning, but we play Overwatch for a living, so it really can't be that bad.
Right. Now, as a last question, like, I mean, your roster is assembled. I think you made a lot of like value pickups. What do you think is realistic for you to achieve, or like what would you be satisfied with coming into next year?
Well, me as a competitor, especially a guy who's really used to winning, in my head I want to win, 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 and win, win. But in reality, that's not always the case. It gets tough. It's the big leagues, right? And so my goal my goal for the team is to win as much as possible. That under like any circumstance, like I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win. So I hope my teammates are on board with that because I'm really competitive, so I hate losing. So we'll see how that goes.
Do you have like a spot where you say, okay, like given our budget, our situation in general? I mean, as you said, there's some teams like Shanghai out there, right? Like that are doing what you did in Contenders, pretty much in the big leagues. At what point do you wake up like on the morning after the season's over for you and say, okay, good season?
Playoffs. And I want to go to, if they're like travel events, if those happen like Hawaii, I want to go to at least one or two of those. That's the thing. I'm a guy who's not content with losing at all. I'm not gonna like, get pissed at people or whatever, but it's just me being competitive. I've done sports all my life, so winning is a good feeling.
For sure. Then we thank you for the interview. And best of luck in the rest of the offseason. Don't let NA rank bog you down too much. And thanks again.